not to, rope you into a what's more likely, but you are going to be sitting in this chair in a few Fridays from now, so just get you ready. Brockman asked me one before. I'd love to ask your thoughts. Who's more likely to sign first? Is it Brock Purdy or Micah Parsons?
I would say it's Brock Purdy because my understanding is the 49ers are just simply much further along in the Brock Purdy process. They've had negotiations. They have gone back and forth. It does not sound like anything is imminent or even close right now with Brock Purdy. The question is just where should those numbers be? Even last year in a down year where everybody was hurt, he didn't have McCaffrey, Ayuk tears his ACL, Debo was banged up, Kittle was banged up. I mean, they had all kinds of challenges here. He was still, if you look at the advanced metrics, Brock Purdy in a lot of categories was still like a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. And when Kyle Shanahan, who let it be known, did not die by Sunday, when he says, I want Brock Purdy to be here as long as I'm the coach, and he's that good with quarterbacks, that should tell you something about how highly he values him. Is that a $60 million a year deal? I would not think this is Brock Purdy coming in, well off of that number. The salary cap has grown since Dak Prescott signed his contract. Purdy has the numbers. He's got the public support of the franchise. It just seems like this one could move faster. Whereas with Micah Parsons, not that it can't get done. I know there's been stuff floating around. We talked about on Super Bowl Sunday the fact there have been internal conversations going back to last year about whether or not it was the right thing to extend Micah Parsons at the top of the market, a market that only has grown by a significant amount since then, or whether or not it was the right thing to trade him for, a boatload of picks and reshape the roster. From everything I've gathered in the last 24 hours, there's nothing to trade discussions at this point. It does not sound like that's the plan with Micah Parsons. But when it comes to doing, big contracts, nothing in Dallas tends to move particularly quickly here. And now all of a sudden, instead of figuring out, are we right to be paying Micah Parsons $35 million a year? Now it's, are we right to paying Micah Parsons $41 million a year or more, depending how long this lasts, because TJ Watt's up for a new deal. Aiden Hutchinson is up for a new deal. The market could continue to move, Rich, in the coming months, depending how proactive teams want to be. The Cowboys have not been a proactive team, to say the least. We'll see if that changes with Micah Parsons in the coming days and weeks here. But I would certainly tell you, the last thing that Brian Schottenheimer or Matt Eberflus or anybody's going to want to be dealing with is a holdout that goes into training camp like CeeDee Lamb last year. It was tremendously distracting for the team. It played a role in why the rhythm and timing and tempo in the passing game was not where it needed to be. Micah plays a different position. There's probably less of that goes into it. But still, going out to Oxnard and spending 6 weeks answering questions about what's going on with Micah Parsons, that's not how you want to get a new regime off on the right foot. So we'll see whether or not the Cowboys are willing to actually advance this and try to move at a speed that they've not moved in recent years.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show live weekdays from 12 to 3 p.m. Eastern on Roku Sports Channel in the U.S.